Hello friends, it's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome to my Tuesday tutorial on the evening of Tuesday, July 18th. And we're just at about 9:01 p.m. here in Saskatchewan, which is mountain time right now. And I hope you're having a great week. Just going to see if I can get linked up to my video on the iPad. Oh, think I found it. Okay. Hello, and welcome. So glad you could join me here tonight and that you were able to find me. Sometimes figuring out how the technology works and trying to find things is the hardest part of it all. Speaking of technology, the hacker, I have all your passwords. Me. OMG, thank you. What are they? This one just made me laugh so much. I know I like really kind of silly humor, maybe kind of lame, but this one is oh yeah, when you, what was that password? And you're looking everywhere to try and figure out what it was. And yeah, so that one really tickled my funny bone. Tonight, in just a few minutes, I'm going to be sharing how I created this card for my husband's and mine anniversary. I made this for him, and it's actually really quick and easy. I used the timeless arrangement, the stamps, and the dies, and I was really surprised at how these pieces go together behind the label here. So I'll show that to you in just a few minutes. If you've found the video here and you've joined us, give a shout, give a wave with a thumbs up to let us know you're there. Say hello. As you know, I'm here in Moose Jaw, and if you're from far away or near, let us know that you're there. I have a weather report for Moose Jaw today, and I would imagine that this applies to quite a bit of southern Saskatchewan. Today's weather, yes, oh man, ridiculously hold on to your hat kind of windy day. Or in my case, because I have alopecia and I have to, if I want hair, I have to buy it from the store. It's a hold on to your wig kind of day today. It was just absolutely silly. I was looking out the window at one point, and we have some cedars that they're as tall as our house. We've got a bungalow one-story house, or a ranch one-story house, depending on what you how you would call it. And the cedar is as tall as the roof, and at times it was bending almost over 45 degrees angle when the wind was gusting. It was just so silly. So I had to figure out, okay, what stamp set is sponsoring today's weather report. Oh, goodness. And before I do that, I'm having a tickle here. So I'm going to have one of my St. John's, Newfoundland. There we go. My St. John, Newfoundland peppermints. So today's weather is brought to you by the Silly Goose. Not only because it's ridiculously windy, and this is probably kind of a bit of a ridiculous goose, but also the Silly Goose is wearing a hat, and she would probably not be able to keep that on her head today. So yes, here we are. We haven't been too hot these last few days, and we're going to be going in that direction, but boy, oh boy, that wind was just not nice. It made it such a miserable day today. Hopefully it will tone it down for tomorrow. Okay, I think I saw some people that were has said hello. Hello, Brenda, and hi to Pam. Yes, North Carolina. Wow, have you been getting some of that really intense heat in North Carolina? I've heard about what the people in, Arizona and I can't remember, what is it? They talk about Death Valley or something. Different places where it's just so like, it's very scary actually. So, wow, I've been thinking about those very hot, hot places. Oh, and lots of hard rain too. Okay. So it just probably can't even soak in. It just creates a river and yeah. Could you please send some of the rain up here to the forests that have got fires? They could use it. Okay. So Timeless Arrangements is the stamp set from our new annual catalog, and there's all kinds of words that go with it. So I'm thinking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only about 7 small images. And so that would mean about 19 different sentiments or parts of sentiments. And so it can be used for a lot of occasions. And then there are all these dies that coordinate with it as well. And there's 1, 2, the 3 labels that have some stitching around the edge. And then the labels can be interchanged with the different little sprig pieces. And then there are just some outline dies too, and other individual sprig dies. So I'll show you quickly where in the annual catalog the Timeless Arrangement is. Oh, and while I think of it, that's page 67. While I think of it, I've got the catalog in my hand. So here's the Timeless Arrangement, just the stamp set or the bundle. All the stamp sets, not the dies, not the bundles, and not any stamps that are online exclusive. Only the stamp sets, starting at midnight tonight Mountain Time and going until tomorrow at midnight, so 24 hours. The stamp sets are 15% off. So there's a flash sale. So if there's something, that you've spotted and you're like, oh, I'd really like that stamp set. Like this one I did a whole class on and had fun with it, and the ice cream and the pop and the pie. This one doesn't have any dies or punches with it, so this would be a perfect set to get tomorrow during the flash sale. The other stamp set that I've used recently, that it is shown with a punch, but it doesn't have to be used with the punch, is the Inked and Tiled set, and it would be a great one to get at the 15% off as well. In fact, there's one card that I've got here from the Inked and Tiled stamp set that is inspiring the card that I'm going to make tonight to show you how this Timeless Arrangement card goes together. Yeah, here's the Inked and Tiled stamp set. And so the card that I put together tonight is going to be inspired by this card, which I made using this stamp set, but inspired by the colors because I really liked this color combination. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Instead of making another card exactly like this one that was for the anniversary, which happened to be our wedding colors, so we had red and white and then black, and I needed one more color to go in there, so I threw in some gray. And that's why I went with those color combinations. But I've pre-cut, I've done all this die cutting ahead of time, and I'll show you the pieces that I used. And it's just really neat how these pieces kind of layer together and sort of crisscross, or they don't exactly match up. The sprigs kind of fall into different pieces and they work really well together. So the 3 pieces that you'd need to cut to create this card here. First of all, you need 2 of this larger one that has the biggest leaves. So it's got the little edge here that you can hold on to. It's kind of like got a handle for these sprigs. And yeah, and then there are 2 leaves that come up quite large, and then a 3rd leaf that comes out the edge that way. So you need 2 of that. And then the next one that you need 2 of is this one that also has like the rectangular little handle to hold on to, And they the shape of them kind of reminds me of shamrocks. That's what they make me think of when I look at those. So you need 2 of those. And then finally, if you're following, I should say this card idea is inspired or cased from Mary Fish. So if you're doing it just like Mary did, then you'll need 2 more pieces of these ones. And these little pieces, again, they have the handle on them here, they make me think of eucalyptus branches. And so that's this one here. Of course, I'm holding them upside down, but yeah. So 2 of those. There is one more piece that also has like the rectangular little handle on it. And I'm not sure, these ones are a little bit blobbier at the ends, so they don't look quite like shamrocks and they don't look quite like eucalyptus. I didn't use that one. And then finally, I cut out this label piece that's got the stitching all the way around, and I'm not sure how well it shows up for the camera, but there's a little cross stitch in the center of each side as well. That little cross stitch just makes it, just adds a nice little touch to it. So those are the pieces that we're going to use. Plus you need the regular size card base. And so when I was going off of the colors here, my card base was Pebbled Path. So I've got that already cut and scored at 4 1/4. And then another piece of cardstock, and that's the basic white at 5 1/4 by 4. So now I need to layer all my pieces together. And this is the quickest and easiest thing you'll ever do. So I start with, or this is the one I started with anyways. It, might depend on the person, but I got a little piece there that didn't get punched out. Start with the biggest one with the leaves and add just a little bit of liquid glue right there. And then I went on to, well, I don't know if it matters which one you do next. I'm going to do the Flirty Flamingo. So you can see the Flirty Flamingo really contrasts with the Pebbled Path. And then I'm going to do one more layer, and that's going to be the Petal Pink. And see how those little rectangular pieces just build up. They layer one on top of each other, but then all the foliage that is extending, like it's not overlapping exactly all in the same place. There's a little bit of the flamingo, then there's a little bit of the Petal Pink, then there's a little bit of the Pebbled Path, then the flamingo, then a tiny bit of petal, and it really is nicely alternated in there. Like the designers who made these dies really did a good job of making it so that when we layer them, your foliage is just, it's kind of like being a flower arranger, but somebody has kind of done some of the hard work for you. You just kind of have to layer the stems or something like that. There's another little piece that didn't get popped out with my die brush. Let's see if I can find there it is. Take your pick tool. Okay. So yeah, those little rectangles are just so sweet how they layer up like that. So then the next part here is I'm going to be adhering them to my basic white card base. And I just kind of laid them out so that I got a general idea of how close or how far apart I wanted them to be. I wanted to cover up those little holder rectangle pieces, little handles, but I didn't want them to be too close together. If they're too close together, then you don't see as much of the foliage. So I pulled them apart a little bit and tried to go for around the center of the card, something like that. And if you want, you could get out your ruler and see where your middle is. I guess I could use my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could use my grid here. 1, 2, 3, 4, There's about something like that, about the middle there. And then I'll just glue those down with a little bit more of the liquid glue. And so there's one pretty much in place. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, because again, with branches and foliage, it doesn't have to, yeah, that's the whole nature of it. So it's forgiving that way, which I thought was kind of great. Okay, so something like that. Yeah, so my little rectangles that I hold on to were pretty much lined up. And now this will be ready, the label will be ready to go on top. So now I'm going to select a sentiment. And when I did this sentiment, I had to use 2 different stamps. So first of all, I mounted the love you on a block, and then right underneath it, I mounted the very much. So both of those stamps were on the block, and I lined them up on a grid sheet and picked them up so that I knew that they were lined up with one another. And I inked them with the Memento black ink all at once. So it was just all in one swoop that I was stamping them. But I don't need another love you very much card right now. So I think I'm going to go for I really appreciate you. And I have this feeling that that was the sentiment that Mary Fish used when she made her card, the one that she shared on Pinterest. So I'm going to see if I can find this. As you can see, these are the 2 stamps, love you very much. Those are the ones that, the 2 words that I've used so far, and I haven't broken into the rest of the stamp set yet. So this is going to be my opportunity to get it a little inky here. And just as Mary had done with her sample, I went with the biggest of the foliage leaves. The color of that is the color that I use for the ink for my words and also for the card base. So I've grabbed the Pebble Path stamp set, or ink pad I should say, and let's see, I don't know if you've ever heard of anybody talking about priming your stamps. Sometimes when you get like a brand new stamp, the ink doesn't cling to it as good as you'd like. So what you can do if you want to prime it a little bit, you can get some ink on it to begin with, and then you can clean it off. And then if you grab some not Memento ink, sorry, the other Versamark ink, one of those other specialty inks, which is a clear sticky ink. Oh, look at how dirty I'm sure you've seen my dirty Versamark ink pad before. But you stamp that a few times on a scrap paper, and it just helps to create and prime the image, so then when you go to stamp, you might get better coverage and the ink clinging a bit better. And this is in particular with photopolymer stamps. So this is a pretty small stamp, so I'm not going to worry about bringing in my foam mat. When you use bigger images with photopolymer stamps, it's a really, really good idea to use a foam mat. And you can use it with the small ones too, but it doesn't seem to be as critical. Okay, so that's all the stamping there is for this. I mean, you could do some more stamping for the inside of the card, or perhaps the envelope too, but I'm going to stick with this for now. Maybe I'll put that on last. I'll do this layer next, going on to the Pebbled Path base. Okay, So I see a few more people have managed to find the video here. Give a shout and say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. I know we've got one from Moose Jaw, and we've got one from North Carolina. And take a peek and see where other people are tuning in from. It's kind of fun to see how these videos and how Facebook can bring us together from different parts of the world, and bring us together in creative ways. And yeah, it's just a really neat thing that, wow, who would have ever guessed when I was, 10 years old that something like this would be able to happen. Okay, so just going to pop that up with the dimensionals and center it so that I've got about the same amount of foliage showing in all the sides there. And then Mary went in and she used, and you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I used 5 gems on this card. So I'm going to use 5 here as well. I think it's a really nice number. And she had colored gems on her sample. I can't remember which kind exactly they were, but I thought just the regular rhinestone basic gems looked nice. So I think I've got some of those really close by here. I can just grab those. Okay, and back to my take your pick. So I found that these great big ones fit really well. There's a bit of a bigger space in those 2 areas there. So 1, 2, and 3, stick down, get a medium one, 4, and I'm kind of making some go out a little bit further and some tuck in a little bit more. There. Oops. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's as easy as this card is to put together. Just line up the little tabs on the foliage. Do it, 3 for the top, 3 for the bottom, and then cover up those little tabs in the middle with your words. And you might even be able to, I'd have to experiment, but maybe you could use a circle in there too, depending on what size the circle is. It does seem to work really well with this rectangular label from the set. Yeah, this one here is the one I used. And I imagine these ones would work pretty good too. This little one, if you use 3 sets of sprigs on each upper and lower, it might be a little bit more overwhelmed. This one gives just that sense that you can breathe when you're looking at the full picture of the card. Okay, so I'm just going to check in and see. Oh, Pam wishes she could send some rain up for the fires. Yeah, boy, we sure wish you could too. Oh, it is a really pretty card, isn't it, Pam? Yeah, when I saw this, I knew right away, oh, I want to try and make that one. And I didn't look at a video or anything. I just started sitting down and figuring it out and discovered how those little tabs line up. So, oh, hello to Donna from Edmonton. Thanks for hopping on and saying hello. And yeah, might have to buy this set. Yeah, it's a nice one. Now, I have cut out some more colors, but I haven't made the card yet. And I'm not going to right now because besides the 15% off stamp sale this week, I've got my garage sale that's going to be held on Thursday, and I've got a lot of things that I need to organize, and stamp sets and paper and whatnot to price, and yeah, I've got a lot of work to do, so I shouldn't be hanging around too much longer here on this video when I've got things to be doing. But I'll show you these colors that I picked out for some others that I want to make. So I was looking through my stash for different color combinations, and I found this card, and I have to look and see what the name of the stamp set is, because I'm always trying to remember the name of these sets. Oh, maybe how come I can't see it right now? Anyways, this lovely set of flowers that are they're more like 3-step stamping. I liked the colors in it. So I'm going to try putting together following the same recipe of Mary Fish's card. And I've got Orchid Oasis and Pool Party and Fresh Freesia. So I'm going to give a go with that one. And then another card that I made with the inked and tiled stamp set was this one. And I thought, and I was using the paper that coordinates with this suite as well. And so I thought, I might try some of those colors. So this combination is Lost Lagoon, Calypso Coral, and Crushed Curry. So, and that was what Mary said on her blog when you clicked on the Pinterest sample and it took you to her site. It said you could do this in any kind of color combination you wanted. So if it was for Independence Day, it could be red, white, and blue. And if it was for Easter, it could be the purples and the greens and the yellows. And and like I said, for my wedding, it was red and white and black. So it's a really great card, easy to make. Once you've got the recipe down, boy, you could go to town and make a bunch of them, and beautiful and elegant too. So I hope this gets you thinking about some new color combinations and maybe thinking about the Timeless Arrangement stamp set. As always, if you have any questions, please do give me a shout and I'll do my best to help you out. And don't forget, the 15% off stamp sale is tomorrow. And for those people who are in the Moose Jaw area, my garage sale is Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. And make sure to let me know that you're coming to the sale, because those people who RSVP will be entered for a draw. So, the smoke from Canada is all the way down to North Carolina. Wow. Like I know we've had so much, and that's crazy how something that's happening in one part of the world can affect another part of it, just, quite very far away. So boy, all we can do is hope we get a little bit more moisture, and it's not looking that way in our area. We're supposed to be getting up to 30 some degrees this weekend again. So thanks, Brenda. I'm glad you like the cards, and don't work too hard and make lots of money. Wow, that's what we'd all wish for, right? Thanks so much, Pam. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll talk to you another time. Bye for now.